What is up, bros? Josh here. In today's video, we are going over a pretty nasty game we had in the Lyon, and my god, I have forgotten how much fun this ship is, just how good this ship is. Now, we are playing the French Battleship line. I'll put a link down below to the series we are doing with this line, our Road to Tier 10 series, and we basically blasted through the Lyon. This thing was so easy to play, and it has been really a long time since I have played this ship, basically since it was released. I really don't play this ship too much if I'm playing Tier 7s. And when we're grinding down this line, it was insane. Like, everyone kind of likes this, and it's known as being the quote-unquote the shotgun, 16 shells going out. But I have really kind of forgot how good the ship was and how much fun the ship is, and how much of just a destroyer smasher. Now, as I say that, we're only gonna get like one hit on this guy, but that is one thing I've noticed when I was playing this ship, is just how much you just smash destroyers, throwing out those 16 shells like the shotgun it is, and just destroying destroyers. There's nothing like a better feeling than throwing 16 shells out and chunking a DD for 10, 15, you know, whatever, and in before all the rage of the AP. Battleship AP versus destroyer conversation. But this thing, and especially even the Normandy, I felt too was really good. This French battleship line is a lot of fun to play, and if you guys haven't checked it out, you really should. A blast to play. You know, we went through it so far, and we talked about even the low tiers. Kind of the Bretagne at tier 5 is a little bit of a hurdle ship, but the Normandy at 6 and the Lyon at 7, you are missing out if you haven't played those ships, and they're a lot of fun. We're up to the Richelieu now. So the Lyon is now on the back burner, but definitely a keeper. I won't be able to keep it on the new account though, since we are going to need the credits, but this is definitely a keeper if you have it and you want to have a fun tier 7. It's always fun to come back. Good speed, lots of shells going out, good damage. Even against relatively armored stuff, you're going to be throwing, even these are smaller caliber shells, 16 of these shells are still going to do a ton of damage. And you can see, I think this is a decent shot on this Gallant, but I mean, you know, it's not the most accurate salvo, but what it is it's a shotgun. So basically what you're trying to do is you're just trying to get a couple of those salvos out and a couple of shells to hit and basically upgroup that pattern. But sometimes when this thing lines up and you get a perfect horizontal line, which it does give you from time to time, this thing is just a gem. So again, this thing is definitely a keeper. But main thing we're gonna be doing with this is, you know, we've been playing tier 7 on top of a really good matchmaking. You know, you get really good maps, smaller maps, which this thing will excel on. And I thought I was gonna actually get that. See, as you can get right there, pretty centralized on some salvos, and that just does a ton of damage. I don't even know. We've gotten so many dev strikes on destroyers, cruisers. Now you don't really get the dev strikes on the battleships like you would, and you know, well, I guess it's kind of tough to get dev strikes with battleships. But like, let's say if you were in like a Nagato or a Colorado, they're gonna have those bigger shells. Ganais now, stuff like that, they have those bigger shells, so battleship versus battleship, they're going to be a bit more, and that guy snags the kill. This actually could have been, well, I won't ruin it, but this could have been a monster kill game. So that one was snuck right there, so we'll keep a tally of how many kills we could have potentially had. So that one, I was hoping to get that one right there, but didn't quite get it. And on top of having a bunch of destroyers that kind of have to get semi-close, you know, there's only a few that are going to have long-range torps, the Hatsuharu being one of them. And so whenever I kind of see stuff like that with the long range, like right there, that's really good dispersion. And there you go. Sometimes it gives you amazing dispersion, and there's kill number 1. Should be kill number 2, though. Should be kill number 2. That's all right. So we're just going to keep moving up, and really, if we can get this side down, take the CD. The Mahan's a little bit of maybe being annoying, but it's going to be all right. But still, we're going to focus on the Omaha. The Hatsu's down, so the Mahan does have 9.2 kilometer torps. So we're not going to get too close to him and keep him at a distance. But if we can take out this Omaha, then we might just be okay, and we can start working back towards, as you can see, they're pushing towards our cap. We're going to clean up this side, and then I will start rotating back. And right there. So there's 2, should be 3 kills. So back-to-back salvos, 1 dev strike, and then finishing up the Omaha. Nothing he can really do, but I need to get my guns back to defend now and get that damage on those guys rolling out, because if I can do that, then we can basically just hold on. As you see, there's a div of tier 7 battleships with a Hood and a Scharnhorst. So I got to get back and try to help those guys out with that, because that is a lot of damage those guys can pump out. But We are going to lose our Fubuki here, but if I can snag a shot on this Clemson, then we can kind of get some control back on this side and really start working towards just gaining full map control. We got one hit on that DD, so he's going to be pretty freaking low, and let's see if we can snag this other guy too. But we got to get away from this this Mahan, because I do not want to be taking torps. So I think we tap him right there. Boop. Little kill right there. So that's 3 down. 3 down. And it should be technically 4. But it's going to be alright. So we got a couple cruisers left. So Scharnhorst is rolling top side. Hood. I need to turn hard left because I don't really want to deal with these battleships right now. Basically, if I can beat up on their fragile ships, so their cruisers, we've already been slaying these destroyers. Take out that Atlanta, take out that Karav, stuff like that. Then we can be in a good situation to then just basically have the rest of our team. So target selection is really, really good on this ship, as per any battleship or any ship in general. But with your strike power, especially on light armored cruisers, that's one thing I've noticed a lot with these smaller calibers is stuff like the Atlanta, which you tend to overpen with the bigger caliber shells. This thing will just eat them up. So really, really good to kind of focus on those cruisers, get them out, because this thing with 16 shells going out, yes, the Citadel damage is a lot lower than the big shells, but since there's so many of them, dev strikes galore, and really one salvo, as we just went back-to-back a little while ago, back-to-back kills, and that's the kind of swing you can get with this ship. As well, as I was even talking when I was playing this ship, a couple viewers were talking about they run this thing full secondary, which this thing actually has some decent secondaries, but the range isn't quite where I want it to be for something that is I would consider a secondary boat. Like, it's not quite the German range or even the Richelieu that gets in 10-kilometer range. This gets in the 7, so I'm interested. If anybody runs full secondary build on the Lyon, I'm really bummed that, well, maybe we still pumped in 10k, but it would have been amazing to get that salvo on the Atlanta, because he's going to cause us some pain. But we have our back guns, you know, 2 front guns, we still have a bunch. And we'll see what we can do right here and see if we can help him out and get him out. So 5 overpens, a bit of a bummer. Nothing you can really do. And we'll try to not get lit on fire too much. But he's taking a ton of damage, so that helped our 10k on that. Yeah, I'm interested. Do any of you guys run full secondaries on the Lyon? I know some people run full AA on the ship, and that's good. This thing has crazy AA. I don't think it's really needed because of the AA is just standard, so good. I tend to just kind of run a pretty basic loadout. I don't run too heavy, like I have like a full secondary build on I think a couple captains for the German line, but nothing like full. I have a full AA captain for the German line, but I don't really specialize a lot of my captains on other stuff. So yeah, I'm interested if you guys run the Lyon anything special. I would kind of just run it balanced. So the Karav getting a little lucky, but we are slowly chunking them on. That's one thing I noticed too with this ship is you tend to get a lot of shells and a lot of hits, like in between that 4, 5, 6, 7k, and outside of, like, you know, a couple dev strikes or a couple citadels. I think we even get this guy right here. It gifted that right there. Looks pretty good to me. I don't know if that's the one. Right around. That happens too with this ship too, is you'll get the straddle, basically the over and under on tons of ships, and you kind of wonder where your shells went. But it's just so consistent. It seems like, you know, you're not going to get that slammer, especially on like big ships, but you're just so consistent and can chunk relatively fast reload, and just pumping 16 shells out. It's insane. I say relatively fast reload. It's 30 seconds, but still, just with adrenaline rush too, it can get it down a little bit farther. But overall, I think we get him right here. Yep, right there. So boom, that should be our Kraken right there. But again, we missed that. We missed the 1,000 health destroyer at the start of the game. Already tanked over 1,000,000 damage. 4 kills though, 1 dev strike, 2 citadels, some secondary hits, and shot down a plane. And so we're gonna push this Atlanta. They've kind of rotated. So if we can, we'll get some extra damage. The Atlanta gets killed. There we go. So we can kind of just then focus on these guys. Tons of broadside. That's always good. And you'll almost see me, if I can get a cruiser, I will, but you will see me almost exclusively. If there's a shot on a DD, I will be shooting at that DD. But broadside for Ataka, I mean, how can I not, right? How can I not go after a broadside for Ataka? Because juicy broadsides on cruisers, but I get 3 overpens. 3 overpens on that salvo? Come on, Wargaming. That doesn't make any sense. I thought that was a dev strike all day long. That's all right. So would have been better to get that damage on the DD, but that was looking pretty good to me right there. I don't know about you guys. But anyways, we had to keep rolling, and there's the DD as well. But for tier 7, it had been so long since I had really played this ship, and I really enjoyed the French battleship line. I think the French battleship line is probably one of the more fun lines to play in this game right now. And just because they're kind of unique. They're secondaries, they're quick, it's a fun play style. That's the kind of salvo we get a lot. 5 overpens, 6 overpens with that 5k damage is absolutely great. You know, that gives our Acosta, who's at 5k life, maybe a chance to win that fight that he wouldn't have had in the first place. You know, going against that Mahan. So that's one thing you get to see a lot. And this Furitaka, he's going to chill. And we'll see if the Wargaming gods let us finally cash in on our Kraken surprise. And there we go. So boom, there's the Kraken. It should actually be 6 kills. But we got our Kraken right there, and we can keep rolling. So we are just slaying Confederate. We got the Death Strike, Confederate, Kraken, not too bad, and we'll try to help these guys out. I think I got a nice little salvo on this guy too. Some spotting damage as well. But tier 7, it's a very, very. I would be interested to see if rank ever does go back. Oh, and this is stuff that happens all the time. It seems like nice little lineup, tons of shells. You know, there's the high caliber. If you can get yourself into a good situation and you know, where you can throw those shells, you just gotta let the ship do it. You just gotta throw them up there and let that amount of shells do the work. Basically, set it and forget it. You click the button and you let the ship do everything else. The guy goes Lyon having a field day. So that's about all the rewards. That should actually be 7 kills as well, which is pretty nuts. That would have been our most kill game, in I think on this account too. This is our new account that we're using for the 2 new series. But again, it'd be really cool. It'd be interesting to see how the Lyon, because the Lyon wasn't around when tier 7 ranked was. So if ranked ever went back, I wonder how the Lyon would do. It would be probably like, you know, a little bit like a Conqueror, I guess, at tier 7. The Nelson too would be kind of HE flingers, but I wonder how competitive it would be against stuff like the tried and true Nagato and the Colorado, stuff like that. I wonder how this thing would perform. I think it'd be pretty solid, especially with being just good at killing DDs. But I wonder how it would compete. I wonder what you guys, and if rank would come back at tier 7. I'm interested to see what you guys would play. There's a lot of new ships that have been added since the game. I think I would probably go with Haida, play the Destroyer, the tier 7 Canadian Destroyer. But I mean, that's what I would probably run. But I'd be interested to see if it would go back. And of course, we have the Sprint coming up, ranked Sprint, which is going to be tier 5. See, there's the broadside. You still get good damage, but kind of lack the Citadel hits. But I mean, imagine if this thing just slayed battleships as well. There'd be no weakness. So this thing was a bit of a bummer right here. There's a lot of situations. Our secondary is going to start popping off, and our Caesar snags our kill. I was going to go for that one next, and which could have been a 8-kill game right there. And then the Lyon gonna pump out some damage against the Scharnhorst. Yeah, I think if it was 7 again, I'd probably run the Haida. But for the Sprint coming up, which is tier 5, which is pretty cool too, it would I'll probably be running maybe the Nicholas or something like that. I'm not even sure. I tend to stick with destroyers. But in come the final kills. We didn't get that, but if we would have, that could have been a 9-kill Lyon game. Tons of credits, tons of damage. This thing is so much fun. But yeah, I'm interested. Let me know if you guys run any fun builds on this ship. If you guys run full AA, if you guys run full secondaries, or you just kind of run a bit of a balanced build. And what are you guys going to be running for the ranked sprint season coming up, which will be also a lot of fun. But anyways, guys, this was an awesome game. I just wanted to show you guys and kind of do a fun little commentary on it, because, man, I think this is probably one of the easier grinds, especially for tier 7. Good matchmaking, good maps, and this is just a fantastic battleship. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.